one thing that I was really curious about was how did you get your start in comics?
This is a long story, so buckle up.
Here we go. I'm tightening it up.
So I started reading comics when I was about, I think I was 6.
Okay.
That's my first introduction. My introduction was actually through the Marvel Universe cards in the 90s. I discovered those at one of my older brother's friend's house, and I was just like enamored with the characters and all the stats on the back and all that stuff. And then found out that there are stories about these characters, at the thrift store and stuff. When I used to like just go in with my mom, go to the store, and like, cool, there's a rack of comics, and just kind of got into it that way. Obviously, it was mostly superhero stuff at that time. Kind of followed it into that initial Image boom, and then I was kind of like out of comics for a long time. I got into high school and was like surfing a lot more and discovered, girls, and just sort of switched my priorities. So fast forward to graduating college and trying to get into the entertainment industry. And so I just knew I wanted to do something creative. I didn't know if it was going to be something in the film industry, something in publishing, toys, whatever. I just wanted to do something that was creative. It was a terrible time because it was 2008, so it's just like no jobs to be had. Writer's strike was right around the same time, so it was really tough. I think I remember I did a count of sending out over 200 resumes before, finally I was just like waiting tables and getting paid to be audience member on what was it, A Deal or No Deal, and like just random jobs like that, being a courier around town, just really trying to survive. And then one day kind of just fell into the Boom opportunity, which was a friend of mine from college. She was working at a production company and would send out a weekly email of just like, here's job opportunities, here's the UTA job list, here you go. And I saw this thing for Boom Studios, comic book publisher, just looking for a temporary person to come in, do shipping and receiving. I was like, oh, I like comics. I used to love comics. This sounds fun. And it was like steady work instead of waiting to find out what my waiter shifts were going to be. It was just like, cool, I can go in. It's two weeks paid. And I walked in the door, and it was, again, this was 2000. Yeah, this was 2008. And walk in the door, and it's just boxes everywhere. Like, no, it was super early Boom days, super scrappy. I walked in, and it was like, there's no reception or anything. It's just, you're in the editorial bowl. There's like 3 people at desks working, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to figure this out. But there was something about being surrounded by comics again, and while I was working on my lunch, I would just read all the Boom books. Everyone there was very gracious, especially when they found out that I was a sort of like lapsed comics reader. So every day someone from editorial would be like, here's something that you missed, you got to read. Here's Preacher, here's this, here's that. And that was really cool to sort of like get me up to speed real fast. And then when my 2 weeks was up, I was just getting ready to say goodbye, and then Ross Ritchie pulled me into his office and was like, hey, you've been kicking ass, and people have really been noticing that you're in here and working for it, and seemed like a good fit. The only position we have open is the executive assistant, which would be Ross's assistant. And I was just like, yep. Didn't ask how much it paid, didn't ask about benefits, didn't ask about anything. I was just like, there's someone who's offering me a job, and I've just rediscovered this thing that I loved many, many years ago, and it just like reignited the fire inside, and it was just a perfect situation, and haven't looked back since. Kind of like just was on Ross's desk for about a year, which was incredible because it was instant just access to publishing, entertainment, diamond distribution, the whole gamut of things that go into comics. And so it was this intense crash course. And so I learned a lot about the industry very quickly, and then ultimately got roped into editorial once we started expanding the slate, which was mostly because of the Disney license. Back when we had it, there was just a lot of new product that was getting ready to go, and so they needed more editors, and they're like, this guy's already proofreading stuff and kind of talking to us all the time, and the rest is history.
I love it. It seems so easy. It's just like a natural transition for you. I was the same way when I was growing up. I got into, girls and having fun in high school, and I kind of fell out of comics.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of when we're at that age of 16, 17, or, we start to notice the opposite sex a little bit, and we stop focusing on comic books for a lot of people. And I had the same exact kind of the history with. It's super cool to hear about how you kind of started off at the as just a temp person and worked your way up, because one thing I've learned by doing this show is that if somebody's an intern now, you better watch out, because in 5 years they're going to be running a comic company, and that's what's happening with you now.
Yeah, we've had multiple people at Boom who have come in as interns and then
never left.
Yeah, still here, still kicking, which is great. I love that. I love being able to promote from within and have people come in sort of on the farm team and make it to the show and just kick ass at every level as they progress.